Hello and welcome back to another how-to Django tutorial. My name's Tom with Mastercode Online. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our videos. In today's tutorial, it's going to be a lengthy one. I do apologize up front, but I'm going to show you setting up pagination, if I pronounce that correctly. If not, I'm sorry. Anyhow, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the basic setup. And then we're going to extend it a little bit. So, basically, we're not showing all the pages. For example, we'll show 5 on the left side of the current page and then 5 on the right-hand side of the current page. I've worked on projects where we have hundreds of pages to show. And figuring out how to show pages on the left and right is very helpful when you got a lot of objects. And then we're going to go ahead and extend it even further, and we're going to go ahead and create a function that will allow us to bring in our paginator, if you will, into our views easily, so we're not repeating ourselves, and also extend our template so we're not repeating ourselves. So let's get started. First off, we're going to focus on putting the pagination inside our post list. So before we can do that, let's go ahead and get rid of these detail and list views. We're not going to need them. And we're going to have to bring in Django's paginator. All right. So we're going to say from Django.core.paginator. We're going to import 3 classes: paginator, all right, empty page, and page not integer. There we go. All right, so those 3 classes will give us the ability to create a paginator inside our project. All right, so next thing we want to do is come down here inside our view, and we're going to go ahead and set up pass some arguments to the paginator itself up here, the class. So we're going to say paginator like this. It's going to be a variable, and it's going to hold a paginator like this, and we're going to pass 2 arguments. First one's going to be which objects do we want to paginate, and that's going to be our object list here, so object list. And then the next one is how many objects do we want per page, all right? Normally, I'm around 20, 25, something like that. It's up to you. But for demo purposes, we're going to go with 1. All right. Since we don't have many objects currently in our database, we're just going to go with 1. That way we see 1 object per page. All right. The next thing we're going to do is get our URL query. We're going to query the URL, I should say, and get the current page number. So we're going to create a variable called page is equal to, and we're going to say request.get. So all caps get, and then all lowercase get, and inside there we're going to say page. All right. Next thing we need to do is we're going to have to set up a try and accept clause. Basically, what we want to do is get the current page. If we can't get the current page, we want to raise an exception for page not an integer or an empty page. All right, so we're going to try statement, and we're going to say items equal to paginator dot page, and that takes argument page. So paginator page. All right. Then we're going to do accept page not an integer. All right, and we're going to say items is equal to paginator dot page is 1. All right, so if the page is not an integer, we're going to return the first page. All right, and then we're going to do accept, and then we're going to say empty page. And we're going to do items equal to, my phone keeps vibrating, I'm going to move that, paginator dot page, paginator num pages. Alright, so I had to pause the video and do not remember where I am. I do apologize. But anyhow, we create empty page. If there's no empty pages, we're going to return the number of pages. Basically get the last page. Alright. Now we need to include items in our context. So we're going to say items, colon, and then items. And in theory, we can actually just go ahead and remove this because we're not going to use it now. So we'll go ahead and take that out. Now the next step in this is we're going to open up inside our templates, inside our blog directory. We're going to open post list. All right. Since we're passing items now as our context variable, let's go ahead and change this to items. Alright, and then after the end for loop, I want, instead of me writing out all this HTML and CSS code, the best thing for you guys to do, and I'll include the link at the bottom of our YouTube channel, and if you're already on our website, good, because it's at the bottom of the page. I want you to go over to Mastercode Online. The link will be down at the bottom. There will be, let's see, the best way to do this would be look for Pagination, template Pagination right here. Alright, and we're going to copy this whole thing right here. Alright, and this is configured for our project, and it's using Bootstrap version 4, so it's all configured and ready to go for you guys. There probably, yeah, there is some styling in there from Mastercode Online with yellow and blue. So if you guys don't want that color, you can change it to something, but I included it so you guys can see how it's styled. Alright, so now with that being said, let's just make sure my server is up and running. I'm going to go over to our demo site here, pull the browser back over, and we're going to go to blog. And we called, I don't remember what we called this URL. Sorry. Blog URLs. There we go. And we're going to go to blog list function. So after blog list function. I should probably change that. Blog list function. There we go. Hit return. Now we should see some sort of pagination in here. Let's hope it works. I don't see it. So why didn't we get it? You know why? I don't have numerous objects set up. So let me go to our admin here. Alright, so in our admin, we're going to make sure we have at least 2 objects that would be called here. So oops, admin, there we go. Log in real quick. And we go to our post. Now I believe there's 2 objects in here. One's draft, one's published. So we'll just change this intro to Django to published. And save it. And back to our blog list function URL. And there you go. So basically the bare minimum for Django's Paginator, it's going to give you the next and previous and next. So if I hit this, it's going to take me to page 2 and see intro to Django. If I hit it back, it will take me to intro to Python. Go back and forth. All right. But I like having page numbers here. Okay. Now I'm going to demonstrate this to you, but I'm not going to create a bunch of objects. If you guys want to go ahead and create a bunch of objects in your code or in your database, go for it, because you'll get to see how this actually works. But what we're going to do is we're going to have at most 5 pages on the left-hand side of the current index and 5 pages on the right-hand side. Like I said before, if you had like 20-some pages, this could get really long and look really ugly. So we're going to put 5 on the current, on the left-hand side of the current page and 5 on the right-hand side. But you will not see that in this demo because I don't want to create, numerous objects right now. That would just take too long. So I'm going to set it up for you guys. If you guys want to go ahead and create those objects, go for it. All right. So let's get started. Back in our views right here, we're going to go ahead and extend this a little bit here. So first things first, we want to get our current location, what page are we currently on. So to do that, we're going to do index is equal to items. All right, so we got items up in here, and we're set items dot number -1. All right, so items dot number -1. So our current location -1 will give us our exact location. All right, so then we want to go ahead and get the max index. What is the total number of pages that this paginator is allowing us to have? So it's a list of page numbers that Django is providing us. So we're going to get the max index here, and we're going to use the length function on that. So max underscore index is equal to length, the Python length function, and then paginator dot page range. All right. So page range has a list of our pages that we have displayed by Django. So in our case, we only have 2, so it has 1, 2 in there, and it's going to give us a length of 2. All right. Then the next thing we want to do is get the starting index, and basically what we're going to say here is, hey, if the starting index is equal to or has more than 5 pages, go ahead and display those 5 pages. If not, display the starting index as 0. All right. Maybe I didn't explain that clearly enough. So the start index will show our current index -5 if the index is greater or equal to 5. All right. If not, start index is going to be 0. All right. So start underscore index is equal to index -5. Whoops, that's 4. 5 -5 if index is greater or equal to 5. If it's not greater or equal to 5, then our starting index is going to be 0. All right. Then we're going to have our end index, which is pretty similar to what we just did, minus we're getting the max index of what's our largest number of page. So if we have 10's our last page, we're going to do 10. So end index is going to be index plus 5 if index is less than or equal to max index. It's been a while since I wrote this. -5 else max index. Alright, so we're getting index plus 5, so we're adding 5 on the index. If index is less than or equal to max index, minus by 5, else return max index. Alright, so hope that's clear enough to you guys. If not, leave a question below and I'll try to explain it a little clearer. And then the next one we're going to do is get our page range. So this is where we set up 5 to the left, 5 to the right. So we'll do page range. Range is equal to paginator. Paginator. There we go. Dot page range. Fat fingers. And then square brackets, we're going to do start index, colon, end index. All right. So it's our starting index. Where are we going to start at? And that's figured out right here with this if statement. And the end index is figured out right here with this if statement. All right. And that's where we have our starting index and our ending index. Where do we want to start and where do we want to end? And then down here, we'll just put page range in here. All right. All right, cool. So now, if we go and refresh our browser. So I'll bring that back up here, over here. Refresh it. We should get page numbers once my server catches up, unless I made a mistake. Oh, looks good. Go ahead and refresh. Come on. There we go. So now we're displaying page 1, page 2, and they're clickable. Going back and forth. Alright, so we got that figured out. I hope you guys understand that. It's a little confusing. If you do run into something you don't understand, please let me know. But we're not done yet, alright? If you think about it, we could actually put a paginator on our category detail because we got a list of posts in there. We're not going to do that right now, but I'm going to show you how we can take all this code and never write it again. All right. So go to your over into your files, over here in example where settings.py is. Right click on example, create a new file called config.py. All right. Now I'm a really big supporter of do not repeat yourself, and I'm also very lazy and I do not like doing things over and over again. So as you can imagine, having a large web app using Django, you could use pagination or a paginator numerous times in your project. So instead of constantly writing it in our views, what we're going to do is we're going to create a function that we can call in, pass some arguments to it, and display our pagination. So in our config.py file, let's go to our views so we don't have to write this again. Like I said, I'm lazy. We're going to cut that out. Go to config. We're going to paste that in. All right. Now we're going to define a function. We're going to say define pagination like this. And it's going to take 3 parameters. First one's going to be request, and that's what's coming from our urls.py file or our user side. And then we're going to take request, and then we're going to take data. What data are we going to display? In this case is objects list. All right. So what data are we displaying? And then I set num equal to 10. This is my default. How many objects do I want to display? I just set it to 10, just in case I forget to put one in there, but we're going to change it to 1 down here. But that's how I set it up. So now we have a function. All right. Now I want you to go in and take everything we just wrote all the way down to the right above the context, cut it out, and go back to your config.py file and paste it in. All right. So now we're going to change object list to data. We're going to change 1 to num. Then we're going to come down and let me just see. That's all we have to do. Then we're just going to return items and page range. So return items, comma page range, just like that. All right. So now we're returning the items and the page range. I think I got everything. All right. Now back into our views. Let's go ahead and import this config file. So we're going to say from examples.config import pagination, like that. I believe I spelled the function. Yep. And then down here, we're going to go ahead and bring that function in. So we're going to say pages is equal to pagination, and then we're going to pass our arguments as request, object list, and in our case, we're just going to use 1 for now because we're using demo purposes. Now, if you look back at our config.py file, we're returning 2 objects. We're returning items and page range. All right. When you return multiple items in a Python function, you're going to get a list. All right. So in that list, we're going to have items and page range. So we have to break that apart a little bit to put it into our context. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to leave items where it is, and we're going to change this to pages, and we're going to get the index of 0. So that's our items. If you look back here, our first items in the list. All right. So we get the first item in the list. And then our page range, we're going to go ahead and change this to pages, and we're going to say 1. All right, so we're getting the second item in that list. All right, cool. So now go back and refresh your browser. Let's make sure everything still works. Of course, my server is catching up. It's not examples, first off, so I do have a typo. It is inside our views. It's example, not examples. Example. There we go. And once this catches up, there we go. We'll go ahead and refresh this page. There we go. So we got page 1, page 2. Nothing changed, but now when we go through our project, we can just simply add in a function and 2 variables, and we able to access our pagination. All right, but we're still going to repeat ourselves in the HTML document. I don't want to do that either. So let's go ahead and copy what we pasted in earlier that you got off our website. We're going to go ahead and cut it out. Get it out of there. All right. So next we want to go ahead and go to our templates file, create a new file, and we're going to call this pagination.html. All right. You're going to go ahead and paste that in. Boom. Paste it in. Go to your post list. And now we're going to use Django's include template tag. And we're going to say pagination.html. Boom. 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 All right. There we go. Just include that. All right. So now we don't have to include that in every list template that we have. If you go back, and hopefully my server caught up to me quick enough. We'll see. There you go. Nothing changed. All right. There you go, guys. That's how you create a paginator in Django. Also, how to make it very efficient so you don't have to ever write it again, because it is a pain in the hiney. Anyhow, if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next tutorial when we do something else with Django. I'll see you then.